have a bachelor party coming up and you want to torture your friend, what better than a ball and chain? Now I'm not talking about one of those little plastic toy balls and chains. I'm about a 16-pound bowling ball with a friggin' 16-pound chain. I torture him just so he can have a little taste of what life is gonna be like. Alright, let's get started. Here are the tools that you guys are going to need. I'll put a link down below so you guys can pick these things up very easily. You're going to need a 1/2 inch flat aluminum bar, 36 inches or so, a pair of scissors, paper, measuring tape, torch, 1/2 inch chain, probably about 6 to 8 feet, a drill bits, table vise, various pliers, protective gloves, some epoxy, 1 or 2 padlocks, some plastic dip, some super glue, some small bolts and locking nuts, a quick release, and a 1/2 inch eye bolt. You're going to need an angle grinder or a rotary tool. And then you're going to need a bowling ball. They have clear ones filled with skulls and gargoyles. Eyeballs, they have dragons, they have cartoons to different sports and different sports teams and comics and movies. You just want to make sure you get something that fits the person that you're buying this for. First thing you need to do is figure out how big the shackle needs to be, and the easiest way to do that is to cut a piece of paper the long way. So you have a nice strip of paper, wrap that around, say, your ankle, and figure out how your ankle is, and if his is going to be a little bit smaller, make it a little smaller. You take that measurement, divide it by 2, because you're going to need 2 halves, and you want to add 1 inch to both sides of each piece, so add 2 inches. So you can see here I got 7.5 inches for each side of the shackle. Now get that flat piece of aluminum and measure 7.5 inches or whatever your measurement is, and do that twice. Make sure you guys always wear safety glasses. Then it's time to break out that rotary tool or angle grinder. And make sure you smooth up the edges as best as you can. And then you want to start heating that bad boy up. This next step takes some practice. I think it took me like 3 or 4 times before I got to where I liked it. But after you're heating it up, you put it into the table vise and you start bending it into a U shape. You can actually use 2 pairs of pliers if you don't have a table vise, but I find this to be a lot easier. Once you have the U shape that you like, you actually want to put the U into the vise with about 1 inch of it still sticking up and lock it in. And you're going to heat this bad boy up as high as it can go without really melting it. And then you're going to take your hammer and you want to smash it and make that 90-degree angle. Now you want to lay it out of the vise, but make sure you don't touch the metal. It's extremely hot, and you want to flip it around, but make sure you flip it around to make sure the 90-degree angle is going the right direction. Flip it in there, lock it in, heat it up, take that hammer and smash it. And when you're done with this is what it looked like, and you want to do it again and have 2 of them. Next, you want to start drilling some holes in each side of the shackle. Next thing you want to do is to dip into some plastic dip. The metal is actually really hard on the skin, so since this is going to be worn around the ankle, you definitely want to put some plastic around there, or plastic dip. You can dip this thing in there like 3 or 4 times using a piece of fishing line. Just make sure you let it dry in between coats, which takes a couple hours. You just hang it, and you just want to make sure you clear out the holes after each time. And then once it dries for a day or 2, you can put in your bolts, or as I did, I put in 2 locks. You can see here you have locks on both sides. now that the shackle's done, you want to move on to the bowling ball. I just took mine to a professional bowling ball shop, and they did this extra for free. You can see they just mark where to put the hole. They use a half-inch drill bit on a drill press, and you can see they did this in like no time. They do this thing all the time. So they have a vacuum it out, and then once that's all done, you take your epoxy, you mix it, you put it in. You don't want to put too much in. You just want to put in enough just so it comes out the top, and you just want to keep constant pressure on it until it kind of feels snug. But make sure you guys do not play with it for at least a day or so. Alright, we're back home now. We're going to put the final touches on this. We're going to bring the eye hook and the chain together with this quick link. And we're not going to make it too easy for him to get out, so we're going to super glue this bastard together. And then the night of the party, all you need to do is wrap it around his leg, put the padlock through the shackle, through the chain, lock it down, and he's set for the night.
It's not funny at all. It's not funny. That's fucking all. Can't wait to get this thing on. Who has the key?